The
Unless-
Catcast, where
unless
you
we're
can
referring
hear
to
about
female
cats
dog.
puking on couches.
There's that. That's our open right there. Thanks, Phil.
Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. It's definitely not official. Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. It's guess.
Hello and welcome to the Official Unofficial New Girl podcast, the show where we officially review and unofficially every episode of New Girl Season 1. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, at Please Be Excited. Today we also have some amazing other co-hosts that we have here. We have, first up in the top left-hand corner, we have Who's That Guy? It's our tribesman.
How's it going, Ben?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, you having a good weekend?
Yep.
Nice. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Who's That Girl? It's Erica.
What's up?
What's happening?
Not too much.
Hey.
How are you doing, Ben?
I'm great. I've got a great feeling about today's show.
Me
And
too.
Yep.
You may be wondering, who is this person in the bottom right-hand corner? Today's special, very special co-host, the voice of the unofficial Metal Gear Solid. It is the one, the only, Philip J. Woodward.
It's official, unofficial, official, unofficial, unofficial. Oh, yeah, it's Jess.
Oh, love the energy. How are you? Alrighty, so let's get into it.
Always fun to have Phil on.
Absolutely. This is great. It's going to be a fantastic show. So before we get into it, let's just go for a few fun facts about today's episode. So we have episode 7, Bells, is the episode that we're going to be reviewing today. This one is directed by Peyton Reed. Now, does anyone know? I think Phil might know this. Does anyone know what Peyton Reed might be best known for? No,
Not really, no.
No idea.
Afraid not.
Phil.
I
This is why
feel
we
like I
brought-
should. I feel like
this is
I
why we-
should know this, but I don't.
This is why we brought you on the show.
Oh no! Oh
This
no!
is why. The reason
Hold
right
on.
here.
I'm
No
totally
pressure.
not typing anything into my computer at all right now. I can tell you that he is a director.
Yes.
He
That is
has
correct.
directed things.
And
Uh,
stuff.
Would he be involved with Ant-Man?
He would be Ant-Man and the Wasp, and also the Mandalorian.
The
Wow.
Mandalorian.
So what you're telling me is that he's the guy I have to hate because he stole the production from Edgar Wright on Ant-Man.
That's your choice, man. You know. But you feel your feelings, buddy. But that is what he's best known for. So yes, that was quite an interesting one there. I'll have to check and see if he actually has directed any other episodes. But cool to see him in there.
So I can tell you that he has only directed one episode of The Mandalorian. He is the director of Ant-Man, the director of Ant-Man 2, and coming on for Ant-Man 3. He also has been involved in such productions as Bring It On.
Oh yes.
Nice.
Whoa.
So that's why we brought you on, Phil. You know.
That's why.
There was no Google involved at all.
And this episode was written by the one and only Ms. Elizabeth Merriweather, who we know from virtually almost every other episode.
Mhm.
Yep. She's the
And-
creator and showrunner of the show.
She is. Now
Jess
this
is loosely
episode.
based on her. Sorry.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Now, okay, I don't want to throw any wrenches into this, but I do want to say that according to newgirl.com or .fandom.com/wiki/bells,
That's official.
this episode was written by Love Rock or Rocky. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Oh, there might be a co-writer.
So yeah, I don't know. It says he wrote Bells, The Story of the 50, Jess and Julia, Normal, and Santa.
Mm.
Okay.
It might be a staff writer on there. Probably is my guess.
Could
Yeah,
be.
probably.
Yeah. Nice.
I just wanted to throw some extra information out there. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, oh, good. Thanks, buddy. And this episode aired November 29th, 2011. That seems like a very long time ago.
It was forever ago. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Now, for today's recap, I'm going to keep it pretty simple because, let's be honest, there's not a lot that actually does happen in this episode. So it's going to be a pretty quick recap / synopsis, but then I think it's going to be more about the fun conversation afterwards. So let's just get into it. So with this episode, it's all about Jess getting jealous when Winston joins her troubled youth handbell quartet. I had no idea that handbells were actually a thing. Never ever saw them until I saw them on New Girl. So it's my little fun fact. And Winston obviously instantly becomes a natural. Meanwhile, Nick and Schmidt engage in class warfare when the toilet breaks down and they each have their own idea of how to get it fixed. Now, by the end of the episode, obviously, everyone patches things up. Everything's all good there. But that's pretty much the gist of the entire episode. So I think we're just going to kick it off and just go into the fun segments and then obviously talk about our overall thoughts. So first off, we have the douchebag jar. Now, some of the moments that I've got from the douchebag jar here. First of all, we have the scene at the start with Schmidt, the sushi, a little fatty tune, yellow tea, Kelly roll, samurai snack. So scrummy. That's the first one that I have. That's the first one. Second, we have the part where he's talking to Nick, obviously about trying to get things fixed. Nick asks him what this particular tool is. He says a scissor, and then at the end of the conversation, a scissor you threw down the toilet. The toilet is what he says. We have quite a few to get through here, so I'll just try and make it quick. But we have Lotus Berry Relax. I can smell it on you right now. Why does your hair look so baby soft? And then begins to try to squeeze the conditioner out of Nick's hair. Which I think I might almost lock that in, but we'll go for all of these here. We've got the line here. It's just that these things come up after after a man takes another man's conditioner, after he has the argument with Nick. We've got let me get my cardigan is the other line that I've got there. So they're the douchebag jar moments that I've put down there. But has anyone else got anything else that I may have missed? Anything? And like I said, it doesn't have to be a douchey moment, just maybe a standout moment for Schmidt or another character that was acting very Schmidt-like that maybe deserves to have something in the douchebag jar. Has anyone got anything they want to add to this?
I would like to point out that this sushi plate is $80 of sushi.
Of course.
I think that's pretty douchey on its own.
I would have to agree there for sure. 100%. That is a lot of sushi.
Yeah. That's great. And has anyone got any other lines that they sort of picked out in the episode for Schmidt?
The one that I would say is definitely belongs in the douche bag jar is I have to go to a networking event later. Scott Can is speaking. I don't know who that is, but just that's the kind of douchey thing someone would like care about.
Absolutely. It's a great one. How about
There's
you,
a bunch
Erica?
of other good ones actually, but I don't know about douchey. Like I love that his bar mitzvah theme was sports jams.
Sports jams.
Yes.
And a little piece of trivia: Max Greenfield did actually have a bar mitzvah theme. It was themed his bar mitzvah.
Really?
And can you take a guess what the theme was?
Was it sports jams?
No, it was not.
Oh,
It was SNL.
Oh,
So
that's
Oh,
dope.
wow.
that's very
so
cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
that's amazing. And what about you, Erica? Any fun moments for Schmidt? Any Schmidtisms?
I think my favorite has to be when he tries to get the conditioner out of Nick's hair. That's my douchebag jar moment for this episode. Trying to, I mean, how do you? Yeah, there's really nothing else to be said about that moment other than how are you going to get conditioner out of somebody's hair? But yeah,
there's
that's
no rationalizing that.
part is just that's going to be my douchebag moment for this week is him trying to get the conditioner back out of Nick's hair.
Nice. And I think that's the moment I'm going to go with as well. It was so good. Like, so how do you rationalize that? How do you? It's a
No,
Schmidt, you know?
Yeah, just Schmidt. Nothing else, just Schmidt.
Yeah. What about you, Phil?
I think pretty much everyone went over the best parts. I will say that it's always interesting to me how smart Schmidt is, but also how dumb he is at the same time.
No self-awareness, right? None at all. And what moment would you like to lock in for your Schmidt douchebag moment or douche jar moment?
like I said, I think everyone kind of went over the fun stuff there.
Yeah. Nice. And Al, what about you, buddy? What are you going to lock in as your favorite douchebag jar moment?
They're two different things, though. I have many favorites and only one douche jar moment. The douche jar moment being the networking thing. I have, when Jess mentions that the kids and why she has to do the musical thing with them, and he says, "Is this something that a mean creative judge made you do?" And a mean creative judge. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious.
I take it back. It's not a Schmidt douchey thing, but it's Winston becoming so good with the bells that he's just like dismisses everyone else and tells them that they're like terrible. That's the douche moment I would like to lock in.
Nice.
That is a good one too. That is pretty good.
I love it. That's perfect. Oh, good. Well, that is the douchebag jar segment. That leads nicely, Phil, into our next one, actually, which is What's Up, Winston? Where we're talking about our favorite Winston moments. So, what I've brought to the table this week for What's Up, Winston, we have the line here: I sometimes touch the frayed part of the power cord just to feel something. In relation to talking about his extremely boring temp job. We've got the line here: "Eye of the Tiger is the greatest song ever written. It's so cool, it ended the Cold War." We've got, "It is an instrument that a cat wears around its neck," in reference to the handbells.
That deserves a douche jar, actually.
That does.
Should we give the douchebag jar to Winston this week? What do you
I think
reckon?
Winston might deserve it this week.
Yeah,
At least,
definitely.
Let's give it to Winston. That's awesome. Okay, this one I particularly love. "I got kicked out of Bell Group for being too mean. That's a low point. You don't need to talk to me about that. I know it, man." And I've just got here: "Getting fired from practicing the bells at his temp job." Which is a great scene. Great scene. So what have you all got? Let's start off with Phil. Phil, what are some of your highlights of Winston? Is there anything that we've missed there? Anything you want to talk about with Winston's character?
No, not really. I mean, I think we went over the best moments, like him learning the bells, becoming too good at the bells, and then just becoming an absolute snob about it. Is just easily my favorite moment.
Nice. And Al, what about you, buddy?
I have my favorite as the one you mentioned earlier. I sometimes touch the frayed part of the power cord to feel something, because I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah,
and another favorite. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna. That might be the most relatable moment of this episode.
100%. And another favorite thing that's Winston related, but not Winston. I recognized one of my favorite comedians ever, a 23-year-old Esther Pavitsky, who you might know from, I know from like Alone Together and her stand-up, but she was in, let's see, Dollface.
Oh, yes, yeah.
She was in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which I haven't seen, but that's where she's from, because I couldn't believe it watching it now and knowing who she grows up to be. That was a very interesting thing. She was Crystal, I want to say.
She was recently in Barry, wasn't she?
She might have been, right? Yeah. She's great. She's very funny comedian. She's wonderful. She's great. Check her stuff out for sure.
Is she the lead on Crazy Ex-Girlfriends? Because I've seen a couple of seasons of that.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the show.
That's all right. No, it's great. Definitely.
She plays Maya on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Nice. Oh, good. And what about you, Erica? What are your favorite Winston moments from this week?
So obviously Al stole mine like he normally does. It's
Al.
Touching the frayed cord to feel something, because yes, way too relatable. Absolutely. And I think that's just a highly underrated line in this episode, just because I think it's so focused on the bells, and him obviously just becoming such a snob over that whole thing. That line is just, and the whole underlying thing of his temp job sucking and everything else. But yeah, that line is probably my favorite part from this episode. I mean, obviously, other than his whole, upward swing of picking Eye of the Tiger. Obviously, come on, Eye of the Tiger for the bells. Come on, man. That's fantastic. But I mean, yeah, picking the touching the frayed wire just to feel something.
Nice. And that actually leads pretty well into my one, which is actually "The Eye of the Tiger" is the song, the greatest song ever written. It's so cool. It ended the Cold War. I
Great
know that he's just
song.
getting that from Rocky IV. He's just watched Rocky IV. He's just taken that as fact,
Yep.
because that's
100%.
Winston's character. Oh, that was my favorite Winston moment. So the winner of What's Up Winston this week is the frayed cord. Congratulations, great line.
Great line.
All right, so let's get into it. Next up, we have Nick's tips. So, some really good moments from. I haven't got a lot here, but they are great moments from Nick this week. Where I have the line here. Yeah, this is just like a nightmare where you brought over teens with bells, which is in fact the reality. Speaking to Jess, I've just got here Nick's toilet system soda bottle. Just the whole back and forth with Schmidt around the whole toilet system. When he rushes in, that one of the teenagers used the toilet the wrong way, and he tries to explain the system as to what to actually use the toilet. So we've got that in there. We've got the nanny argument with Schmidt, and there's a lot in there, and I've just put the line here: "My nanny is dead. I'm not looking to make money off her." I've just got all the unfixed it moments of Nick's just unfixing everything from the basketball hoop to the cupboard, leading to some great moments throughout the episode. We've got. I just put it in here because I think it's a really good moment. Is the inspirational kind of speech to Winston, where he's just talking about, hey, look, it's not about you, it's about the kids. Pass the ball is what he says to Winston, which I think we'll probably talk about more in our sort of final thoughts on the episode. But I just thought that was a great Nick moment. And I've got, I can't hear anything you say when you're wearing that sweater, Schmidt. You open your mouth, and all I hear is cardigan, cardigan. I'm wearing a cardigan.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I have. Let's kick it over to Erica. Erica, tell me about your next tips for this week.
Cardigan. All I can hear is cardigan. I did not wear mine this week specifically because of this episode. It's hanging up over there on the hook because I just wore my hoodie instead because cardigan. That is my next tip. I don't need to say anything else. Yep. Nope,
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's such a great line.
Perfect. It's perfect.
And Al, what about you, buddy?
Definitely cardigan. I have some runner-ups though. But again, they're just good advice from Nick, right? Which again is kind of like what Nick's tips could be.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love this line where he says, "You know what sucks about getting older? Your friends have known you for way too long. They've got too much on you. I want friends who still lie to me because they don't want to hurt my feelings." And then he says, "I sadly kind of mean that," which is just very relatable for me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And what about you, Phil?
So I think I really like is the running gag with the toilet in this episode, where Nick just refuses to get a plumber to fix it because he wants to be self-reliant. And he just won't give it up. He has to fix the toilet himself, which is probably one of my favorite parts. But I like this line from him where he's like, "This is just like a nightmare I had, where you brought over teenagers with bells."
It's such a Nick line. It's so good.
So great.
So good. But I think you're right on that toilet one too, because one of my favorite moments, I didn't put it in here because it's not really specifically a line, but when Schmidt actually gets the plumber comes around and he's like, "You're the soda bottle guy," and he takes so much pride and he's like, "Thank you, sir."
Yeah, 100%. I just love that whole gag. Going back to Schmidt real quick, he has this line where he says, "All I'm hearing is that I can't use my toilet because you're poor." So if we could add that to the juice jar.
Yeah, I like
oh,
that.
absolutely. That belongs there.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I think this is like some really good moments. I don't know if there's, out of all of our conversations, I don't know if there's any sort of strong standout. I think it's just Nick in general. Like, a great episode from him and some great moments. I think the cardigan might have been slightly up there based on everyone talking about that as well. That's all good.
Yeah, the cardigan bit is one of my favorites for sure. I just love it's that whole little not monologue but sentence that he has there. It's like his deadpan face while he's saying it too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that's great. And what we might do next is just before we get into our final review and thoughts on the episode, I'd like us to go around and let us know who the MVP was for the episode for each person. So let's go with Al. Who was your MVP for the episode and why?
I think it's either Schmidt or Nick, but none of them really. It was because they were both willing to, let go of their way of thinking that made me think that they're both a little bit. They can share that MVP spot for me because no one really deserved that MVP solely. Just like everyone was a little bit of a. I don't know, a little bit of a childish brat in this episode, you could argue. But yeah.
Nice. And Erica, what about you? Who are you going with?
I agree. It was really hard to pick an MVP for this episode because everybody was kind of a childish brat in this episode, which is why I'm giving my MVP to the kids. Give it
The kids were great.
Playing the bells because they already have it a little bit rough. Obviously, that's why they're kind of they're the troubled youth bell group kind of thing. So I want to give it to them just because not only do they already have a rough go of things, but then they have to put up with Winston being a jackass kind of, and being really selfish and taking everything over, and they still kind of persevere and they stick around and still do, their ensemble and, which, shout out to puns, but yeah, I'm gonna give it to the kids just for sticking it out and keeping up and trying to learn Eye of the Tiger on the handbells. So yeah, kids get the MVP for me.
They were so good too. Like that, the one that's having the argument with Schmidt over the crackers. And then there's the one with we were just talking to Winston, and he's like, "Are you brown nosing?" And she's like, "Absolutely, you're so cool." No, that's a great choice. I like that. And Phil, what about you, buddy? Who's your MVP for the episode?
So I really like how kind of not underappreciated Jess is in this episode, but she goes through all of this stuff with everyone in the house, tries to do this nice thing, and she's always trying to do something nice that ends up being like kind of the most horrible thing you could possibly put someone through. But somehow something all good always comes out of it. And in a way, like, she made all this happen. She have, in the end, brought all these people together, and I feel like that on the one hand should give her the MVP spot for this episode. However, I also like the character arc that Winston goes through because he does technically learn the error of his ways by the end of the episode. So I want to give him some credit, just to shout out there, even though he totally holds the mantle of douche in this episode. I would like to give him some credit for that. However, I say Jess for my MVP spot.
Nice. And I think I'm going to go. I like your idea, Erica, giving it to the teens. So I like that. So we've got a pretty good mix. I don't think we necessarily need an overall winner today, but I think we just shined a spotlight on all of the amazing people in the episode. So that was a good one. And like I think everyone sort of said, there's probably no huge standout in this episode, like there may have been other times, but like I think the ones that sort of do stand a little bit do a good job. So yeah, that was good.
But I also agree to an extent with what Phil said. I think I somehow did not think of Jess, and she did actually. Was the only one holding it together in this episode, so
definitely agree. Yep.
Yeah, that moment when she grabs that cupboard door. She's like,
yes,
just yelling in front of the team, "This is not my war."
Also, there's another line in the same sort of realm where she says, "Also, what happened to the refrigerator and sofa? Did we get robbed by giants?" That made me laugh out loud. I just love it. The delivery of that.
It's so good, and I've got some great chess moments that I think I'll talk about in my final thoughts as well. So I think you're absolutely right there, Phil Winnell. That's great. Yeah, so that's it for our MVPs. So now we're going to go through and have we chat about our final thoughts on the episode. Before I do that, I did so you said it was a standout episode for Jess, and I completely agree. So I have a few lines that I kind of want to talk about, and then so as part of my final thoughts, and then obviously if anyone wants to add anything, that'd be great. But I love the line that she's got here: "Jingle Bells is a trash song played on a trash instrument." It's just so good, and it's also very unjust, like, which I think makes it more hilarious. Like normally she just loves everything, and the fact that she hates Jingle Bells, it's so good. I like the line to Jess, to Winston. Are you sure you've never rung before? And then continuing to say, I know handbells aren't the coolest instrument. They might not even be in the top 5. It's so great.
For once, you're getting Jess shitting on things, which is a very rare thing.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
happen often.
absolutely. And just her whole speech about not abandoning the Bell Group was fantastic. And then I've just got here, just shout out to the lady at the end of the crowd when the ensemble are playing. They talk about, and here comes Winston Bishop, and the lady's just like, "What's a Winston Bishop?" Oh, I just love it so much. But no, I thought, like I said, Jess had a really, really strong episode. And I think in general, like I say, it's a good episode for me all round. I thought, like you mentioned earlier, Phil, that we see some growth from Winston, and it sort of carries through, thankfully, to the other episodes. You know, he may still be a little bit competitive, but I think he's kind of learned a pretty big lesson. Like he talked about the fact that he got kicked out of the Bell Group for being too mean. I think was a real low point in his life. I think that's just about rock bottom, right? So
this is also him getting fired from the temp job that leads into his future
Yeah.
endeavors. So there's that as well,
exactly. Oh, I love it. So I think
which
all in all,
I don't want to spoil. Just okay.
I appreciate that. No future spoilers.
No future spoilers.
Yeah, so I think all in all, it was a fun episode. I didn't think personally it was quite as strong as other episodes for me personally, but I did like that we saw some growth from Winston's character. And I know we've talked about it. You know, he's kind of had one less episode to develop that character than the other ones have, not being in the pilot episode. But I think this is a good one to kind of show who he is and that kind of competitive nature. But yeah, nice to see him sort of learn at the end. And I really like that moment from Nick. You know, he is doing that whether he wants to or not. He is that reluctant mentor that I think they have and sort of cast as in that in the loft. So just him, straightening him out at the end and just in his own Nick way, just saying kind of get your things sorted and just get back in there. And just it was actually quite a hype moment actually when he's like getting the band together to actually go to the ensemble. And he's like going past Schmidt, he's like, "Are you in?" And the music playing, and then Eye of the Tiger, like it's quite a cool build up actually. It felt really hyped there. So for me personally, for this episode, I'm going to give it, I was thinking a 6.5. I'm going for a 7 out of 10 Schmitties. Just talking about it, the more we talk about it, actually, the more I think I actually enjoyed it. So I'm going 7 out of 10 Schmitties for me personally. So let's kick it over to Erica. Erica, tell us about your thoughts on the episode, and if you want to give us our Schmitty rating.
I was actually going to go with 7 also.
Nice.
7 was kind of where I felt. I agree with you. I really agree. I think it wasn't as strong as some of the other episodes have been for me. I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was a funny episode. I love the bells, the whole thing. I mean, it's kind of fits into that goofy universe of just Jess in the random stuff she gets herself into, but still has enough relatability that we can still see, things that kind of fit into our lives, along with some of the goofy little arguments. Whereas I always try to fix stuff myself, and whether it's with a pop bottle to fix the toilet might not be quite to that extent, but you want to try to be a little self-sufficient and things like that. But you can always find little things in these episodes. Again, like I said, I don't think it's quite the strongest episode so far that we've seen in this series, but it's still a really good one, and one that I always enjoy watching for sure. So I'm going to go with 7, definitely.
Nice. And Phil, final thoughts on the episode, buddy, and what is your Schmitty rating out of 10?
Big old Schmitties. So I'm coming in a little hot here. I love this episode. I mean, we get a Bell rendition of Eye of the Tiger. Who in the world thought that anyone would ever do that? No one.
Not me,
This
dude.
show did it. Was anyone asking for it? No. But do I want it every day after seeing this episode? Absolutely. So the fact that it gave that to us, I think is amazing. As I was saying earlier, I really like all the character development in this episode, whether it's, the learning experience for Jess trying to do some great stuff, for these kids. And Schmidt and Nick's relationship is always fantastic. And I love seeing their interactions and how they build off their friendship. You can really tell that they are old friends in this episode, like people who have been dealing with each other for a really long time. And from the conditioner bit to the toilet bit, to Schmidt trying to like tempt Nick into eating some sushi. Like I feel like that those interactions are fantastic. And then, like I said earlier, we've got a lot of growth for Winston's character in this episode, where he goes literally through an entire story arc of being like the side character to the hero to the villain to basically reforming and realizing that he did something wrong. So overall, for me, this kind of stands out as one of my favorite episodes up until this point. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 8.5.
Oh, like it. That's good. Awesome. Thank you. And last up, we have Al Tribesman. What do you think, buddy?
I'm going somewhere in between, and I'm going with 8. If only for the squeezing conditioner out of Nick's hair moment.
Oh, that's so good.
But in all seriousness, though, what happens, that relationship, like Phil said, between Nick and Schmidt, like when Schmidt says all that almost real but douchey stuff to Nick about like him dropping out of law school and all of that, like that again just builds that relationship, and it sort of lets us in on that, and it's a very nice thing. And also Esther Pavitsky's in this one, so I like that.
Nice. And I think that really sort of cut. You could see it in Nick's face when Schmidt calls him a loser. How hard that sort of hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, but that's the real friends, though. Like that's I don't know. I like that kind of thing. Seeing that in a sitcom, it's not as cheesy as when Saved by the Bell does it, but it works. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's fun moments, but with New Girl, it knows when to be serious and when to be funny. So
exactly.
I think that was one of those good sort of mixes and moments there. So yeah, nice. That's all good. So there you have it. They are our final thoughts on the episode. But before we go, of course, we have Jake Watch. Now, Phil, did we have an ultimatum for you coming on the show? Possibly. Now, you are a voice actor, which is an actor. Now, do you have it in potentially with the one and only Jake Johnson, so we can get Jake on the show? I know you all hang out.
All voice actors of all calibers just hang out and are friends.
We didn't really have a connection, but once he did Into the Spider-Verse and became a real voice actor, that was kind of like my thing to him. I sent him a message. I was like, "Oh, hey, you're a real voice actor now. We should hang out."
Nice. So no one, okay, but we can work on that. There's been no updates on the socials. If you know, I was going to say Jake Johnson. If you know Jake Johnson, or even Jack Johnson, if Jack Johnson wants to come on the show and maybe serenade us, that would be great.
I mean, hey, sure.
I love Jake Johnson. I've seen him live. He's fantastic. So if you have it in with anyone, just let us know, or just let them know, because hashtag let Jake know, so we can get Jake. There we are. Love it, Erica. Let's get Jake on the show. So hashtag let Jake know. That's it for Jake Watch. And then also, sorry, before we go, we need to do our fun segment, Hey Girl, What You Doing? Where one of our co-hosts will tell us just what's happening in their lives, any fun stuff they're doing, anything that's happening. So I'm going to pass it over to Hey Girl, What You Doing, Phil? What are you doing, buddy?
So real quick, I just saw a message here in the chat that said I was wrong about Barry, her being in Barry. This is for Esther Pavitsky. I was wrong about that. I was thinking of another brunette from another thing. And I would like to correct myself and say that she is not indeed in Barry, but she is in Dollface, and I recommend everybody go watch Dollface.
Nice.
But aside from that, what am I doing? Currently working on emotes and layouts for Twitch. You can catch me over at Philip J. Woodward, at Phil J. Woodward on Twitter. Slide into my DMs, email at philipjwoodward@gmail.com. And if you're looking to do emotes, art, or Twitch layouts, you can see Snowbike Mike's Twitch layouts. That's what I've been working on lately. I've also been working on some Twitch layouts for somebody that you all might know. His name is Ben. He goes by the handle Please Be Excited.
What? That's me.
Yeah, he's right there. That guy.
Whoa.
Man without the face is what they
I'm
call
just
him.
an artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I have no physical body.
And when you see these layouts, you're gonna really feel that. You're gonna feel that AI.
That's the vibe
just
we're going for.
coursing through this layout.
I can't wait.
And so there's that. I've been working on some fun voice projects that I can't unfortunately talk about, but
When the time is right.
hopefully we'll be able to reveal them soon. But yeah, so if you have any voice work or any art that you're looking to have done, that's what I'm up to.
Love it, buddy. Oh, good. And yeah, thank you so much again for coming on the show and being a very first special co-host on the podcast here. So
To be fair, I kind of forced my way into the show.
That's all it takes. Just persistence, people. That's all it takes to get on the show.
It wasn't like I was popular enough or well known enough for you guys to be like, "Hey, Phil, do you want to be on our show? Maybe." No, I was like, "Please, let me be on your show, please."
We thought you might be Aaron with Jake Johnson, but now that we know that you can't, it's.
Well, we hope you come back soon. We want you to come back soon for sure.
Yes, please come back. Yes.
Absolutely, buddy. No, that was a great time. So thank you again so much for coming on the show, Phil.
There we go.
There we go.
And thank you to my two other amazing co-hosts. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Al. Before we go, let's just go around. Has anyone got anything they want to talk about? Anything they need to promote or discuss? Let's kick it off with Al.
It would be great if you just head to the oupod.com just to check out more of our stuff. We'll be doing movie reviews, music reviews, all that kinds of stuff. So do that.
Nice. And Erica, what about you? Anything that you would like to promote or talk about?
Check out the Patreon if you want to. Don't feel like you have to, but it's over there. Starts out at $3, goes all the way up. We have some really cool stuff. Discords, early access, whole bunch of stuff. Fan fiction, you want to check that out because that should be definitely really, really interesting. Also, I want to thank our Patreon producers, Tiff Stardust, Largent, and the boys at Simply Sassy.
Yay! Thank you so much, Simply Sassy. Woo! And what about you, Phil? I know you've already promoted some stuff, but is there anything that we might have missed? Where can people find you? I believe you might be doing some work with Simply Sassy, because you're in Simply Sassy.
Absolutely. And to be fair, for the Hey Girl stuff, you said to promote myself.
I did. Yeah.
So I don't promote other people when I'm promoting myself. But yes, please check out at Simply Sassy Vids. We're doing some fun stuff on YouTube, and we're doing a Photoshop challenge to make up for the fact that KFAF is dead. Thank you, Tim, for shooting them in the face and allowing us to have our time in the sun. And then we're also doing a new show called Out of Our League. We've currently interviewed Tim Geddes as well as Nick Scarpino. Nick Scarpino actually special guested on our Photoshop show recently, which was a lot of fun. We're going to be getting some cool guests here pretty soon. I can't quite say who they are yet, but once they are locked in, I'm sure we will announce who they are. Other than that, yeah, please check us out. Simply Sassy Vids.
Absolutely, buddy. That's great. great. Thank you so much. And for me, you can follow me at Please Be Excited, the letter B in the middle. And yeah, that's on Twitch, that's on Twitter. Definitely check out the oupod.com, pop it in there. Just have a good time. It's got all the links. We are on virtually all podcast services that I'm aware of, just about all of the big ones anyway, and on YouTube. And we would really appreciate subscribing, sharing, and definitely checking that subscribe button on YouTube would make a huge difference as well.
A couple of reviews on the podcast services wouldn't hurt either. So if you're inclined, that would be great.
That would be amazing. Obviously, this all started out as just doing a pilot episode, which has obviously spun us to committing to doing an entire season. We would love to continue and do other things with it as well. So yeah, if you can, please support that show. Do what Phil's doing right now. Just click that like, follow, subscribe, and review. Yeah. But that's it for today's show. So thank you everyone again for the amazing support. We love you. And once again, if you've got any advice, feedback, tips, leave it in the comments there. We would love that. We've got some good stuff that we're going to probably talk about next week in regards to a possible fun segment. So until next time, keep it unofficial.